Gate number one is the gate of birth. The gate of birth. The gate of birth. I won't lie to you, from the conception to delivery until a child is 2 years old, everything in your grandmother's house will manifest. Especially when it comes to delivery, naming the child, and to some level handling that child up to 6 months. That is the time you will be caught in between Christianity and traditions and rituals. And that is the time, sometimes, where destinies are shortchanged. Hi. During pregnancy, people do rituals. There are things you have to take, traditional herbs. There is how your mother has to bathe. There is how the baby has to be spoken to. There are massages by grandmothers, interference of the seed. The war began before you came. And then during birth, many things again happen depending with culture. You hear when people are giving birth, the grandmother must be there. There are statements being made. There is how the umbilical cord has to be handled. There is someone that has to shave their hair. You must be given a name of a great grandmother. Do you realize that when John was being born, the Lord had to deliver John from the naming of his family? The father contended and he said, no, he shall be called Zachariah, because the culture was when you give birth to a child, you name him Zachariah, or you name him after the father. So my name is Anthony, so my son ought to have been called Anthony if I was a Hebrew. To advance, that's why Abraham had a problem, to advance the legacy of Anthony. But you see, the Zachariah priestlyhood could not handle revival. So the Lord could not name him to advance an old pattern legacy. The man needed a new name because it was a new dawn. And that name came from Zion. Some of our battles began by people who named us. Hey, sorry, you'll forgive me. People came and said, Nimezaliwa. You need to refuse. That grandfather was a polygamous man. Now, look at your life. Even the one you have is not yours. But when you trace, you realize someone made a claim and said, I have been born. They no longer call you Kababa. Your grandmother calls you my husband. Your grandfather calls you my wife. Because they are imposing something. Listen, when greatness is born, even the earth has to interrogate. Are you the one, or we have to wait for another? Because there is the one we were waiting for. So some of us, our battles are innocent. Hey, you have desired settling, but there must be adjustment from the womb. Because the one you are named after was widowed at 30. So there is a spiritual pattern that has been pursuing your life. The women in your family, none has kept a marriage. You are now attempting. Or those that have kept a marriage, they kept a marriage after the second one. You have to go with children for you to settle. And you look and you realize this thing is pursuing my life. If you don't get revelation and begin to dig your family tree, there are matters that are beyond your understanding. They need a partnership with Zion.